I can't let you go without asking about the so-called Mozart effect. You know, the idea that we should all play music to our kids, maybe even when they're still in the womb, because they're going to become smarter. Is there any science behind this?
You know Fran Mausch's work. Well, you know, it's interesting. That was a really good marketing campaign for a research article that came out that was really about attention and and I think stimulation. And because of that one study, there was this generalization that listening to Mozart would make you interesting. I think some of the subsequent studies that came out was more about stimulating or priming the brain for attention when you listen to certain types of music, and that priming allows the person to be more attentive to task when something's happening. And so that may be the role that music plays, is to, get somebody ready to learn, to arouse the right part of the brain.
Yeah, I think in the original study it wasn't about certain types of music. It was really
just one
only
piece of the two.
the two piano concerto, Mozart concerto. So this was, and the control experiment, the control case was silence or something.
It was a deeply flawed experiment.
And
the marketing, it was extraordinary. It's one of these things that went straight from the lab to the front pages of the newspapers, bypassing their science editors, I'm sure, and reviewers, and
scientists too.
It's not specific to Mozart at all, at all.
Yeah.
Now, some years back, I was editing this journal called Music Perception, and Mozart Effect there was a lot of hype about that, and then somebody sent in a paper saying, I found the same thing for Schubert. So maybe we should call it the Schubert-Mozart Effect. And
nobody tried Ellington or
pardon?
No one tried Ellington or Hendrix or.
I think people have tried everything, and then somebody tried just listening to stories, and they found a similar thing. Now, of course, these are only the people who found something. There are a lot of people who've tried to replicate who haven't found anything at all. Now, I think there is something going on if you look at it in what's called a do the meta-analysis. If you look at all the hundreds of studies that have been done. Not all of them replicate, but there are enough replications that something is going on, but it looks like it's more exactly what was mentioned, something about attention, or some have suggested it may be a mood manipulation. I mean, as Vijay said, the control condition in the original experiment was sitting in a room in silence for 10 minutes, right? If you happen to be in that condition, if you were randomly picked for the Mozart condition, you listen to Mozart for 10 minutes. Well, if you were sitting in a tiny little cubicle at some psychology department somewhere for 10 minutes, and then you had to take an IQ test, you may not be in a very good mood.